Hi everyone, it's Maggie, and I am here to share with you. This is going to be a two-part series, and it's going to be how you can turn your vintage curtains into trims and appliques on your own. And I have spent the last couple of days cutting and fussy cutting and clipping, and it does, I have to say, it can really take a long time, but when you're finished, it's so worth it. I have to say, it really is. So let's start. Oh, and this first video is, I'm just going to show you the curtains, how I broke them down. And then the second part, I am going to take some of the pieces and I'm going to interact with them and embellish them so that you can see how much you can really do with them. So I have this one in front of me, so let me, some of them I did keep a whole piece of curtain. I think this one though, I'm not sure if oh yes I did. Okay, so you kind of have to use your imagination because I only ended up leaving one piece. This was a short piece of curtain, but this was the curtain, and I know I don't have it all in there, but you can see that was the curtain, you know, all the way across. And I think it was a good maybe like a foot and a half or so. All right, so this is what I did with this curtain. All right, the first thing I did was I cut those pieces. Well, I started from bottom to the top, and now let's see if I can like recreate it. Okay, so this is kind of in the middle, and okay, here's the bottom piece. All right, so I took this part right here, and that's it. This is how wide or how long the curtain was. And you can cut these out individually, or what I'm doing with most of them is I'm leaving it as almost as a lace trim, if you want to call it that. And then if I end up wanting to cut a particular piece for, say I'm working on a doily book or a fabric book, I'll cut it off the end. But I don't want to cut them up because I don't want them all to be appliques. So I'm leaving the trims, and then as I go along, I'll cut up the appliques when I need them. So there's the bottom piece. And then here is the middle, right there. And I did cut one out so you can see what it looks like individually cut as an applique. And this is what it looks like. Here's the right side of it. And these are so soft, and they're so flexible. So I'll do the same thing. I might want to use maybe like, this would probably fill a, you know, one page. I might leave it like that, or I might just use them as appliques. So there's that piece. And then this is the top part. But actually the top part ends up becoming a bottom trim also. Let me put that there. And here is this one. And let me find the right side. Okay, so this is the right side. So here's another, and these are all, when you do this, they're all going to be unique. You're not going to, you know, you're not going to see these everywhere. You know, like when you see certain trims that everybody loves, and I have tons of them, believe me, and I love using them. But sometimes you want to use something that's different or unique, and this is this is a good reason to do this. And before anybody asks the question, how can you cut these up? Let me first say that none of these curtains are handmade. They're machine made, they were mass produced, I'm sure. And even though they're vintage, to me, it really doesn't matter. It would be different if, two reasons. It would be different if I had a complete set of them and I could fit them on windows. Then I would leave them as is and I would put them up on my windows. But that's not the case in any of these. They're just either one curtain that I found or pieces that someone has sent to me. And the other reason would be is if they were handmade, but none of them are. So anyway, so here's another one, and you can attach them on the page just using these, and it's a dangle. To me, it could dangle, or you can just cut one piece. You can cut that piece there. You could even cut this piece and use it for something. It's only limited to your imagination. So, okay, that's that curtain. All right, now let me get this curtain. And here is a piece of it. This is a piece left that I kept intact so that you would see the whole curtain. Okay, so let me start there. I can't see everything you're seeing, but I'm hoping I get it in frame. Excuse me. So I'm going to hang it there. Excuse me. And then let's see. We'll see if I can find the bottom. Okay, so here's the bottom. I cut out a couple of them because these I will definitely use a couple of them as appliques or bottom, in a piece. Okay, and here it is as a trim. Okay, that's the trim. And it just makes a beautiful trim. And again, you can attach it here. You can attach it just going across. It doesn't have to show it all, but there's another like dangle trim there. So there's the bottom piece. Okay, and then this is the next piece that was above that. And I left it as a trim, but again, you can cut individually. So there's that piece. This wasn't a really long curtain. Okay, and then here are the flowers. Now I cut one out and it makes a beautiful flower applique. And then I left the rest of them intact. You could, do a page like going right across, or you can cut them out individually. And then this is the top piece. And again, it would become a bottom piece, but this was actually the top. And just to show you, the only part of this that I didn't use is this one little part here. And the connectors, obviously, these connectors that you really can't do much with. So that's really the only piece that I wasn't able to cut off on that, was that very top piece. All right, now let me show you. This was I found this at Savers like last year or the year before, and it was a part of a 3-piece sampler. And I don't know if did I keep a piece of it? I guess I did. Okay, I just actually cut out, I didn't cut all of it out, but this was on the top right here, these rings. And when I do the second video, you're going to see these, but you're not going to see them like this. I'm going to do something with those. So there are the rings that were at the top. Here are the flowers. Okay, I cut out some flowers. So those will make beautiful flower appliques. And then here are the leaves, like you see right here, the leaves. And then these are on the bottom, and I cut these out individually. So there's 3 of those, and then this was in the middle, and that can be used for something also. So that was that curtain. Okay, and the next one, this might be one I didn't. I have to see if I kept a piece. Nope, I don't think I did. Okay, so this was a gorgeous, gorgeous curtain, but it was only a piece of one. It wasn't, there's really nothing else you can do except for cut it up. All right, so I'm not going to be able to show you how it looked because I forgot to keep a piece of it, but this is how wide it was, or how long it was, right here. This was the top of the curtain, and it had been cut off. I think maybe Virginia might have sent this one, but I'm not positive. I might have found this myself at a Savers. I just can't remember. But anyways, I'm keeping this because this makes this see-through. I'm not sure what this is. You see it on a lot of the vintage curtains, and it makes a beautiful flower. So that stays. And I was able to cut every piece on this curtain. I didn't have to waste anything. All right, so here's the bottom piece, or what I believe is the bottom. And so I may even have a yard of that. So there's that piece. Let me get that out of the way. And then here's a middle piece, I know that. And I didn't cut all the little connectors off yet. Like I said, I have done so much cutting that my hand is, my fingers are like stuck, like they're still stuck inside the scissors. But yeah, so here's another trim, and you can cut these individually, obviously. And the only thing I'll say about when you're cutting the connectors or you're cutting it off, see these little pieces here? Some of the curtains do have this, and you don't want to cut that. You want to leave that on there because it just gives like a shabby effect, more lacy effect. So see, there's some right here. So I'll just cut this quick so you can see. That needs to get cut off, and that needs to get cut off. So they're just beautiful. And so here's another unique trim. Okay, and then this one, I think it was almost like a mirror, like you'd call it a mirror image. Like this was on the bottom, but then the same thing was on the top, only going the opposite way. So I ended up getting like 2 rows of that. And this was, I think this was actually the bottom piece. But see these little fibers there, threads, that you want to keep. You definitely want to keep. And in this one, you can cut this stuff off. I kind of like it. I think it's really pretty. So I'm leaving it for now, but at some point I may end up, like cutting a piece of it off or something, but I actually like it. So I ended up, okay, that was the bottom. This was actually the top, and it went like this. And so now I have another piece for the bottom. I mean, it's incredible what you can get out of, you know, even a couple of feet of a curtain. I mean, look at that. It's almost crazy. Okay, now here's another one that, look at, I got so much out of this, and it really wasn't that wide either. This one I think I found in a thrift store a while ago, like 2 years ago. And look at how, this is how, you know, long it is. And then it might have been like a yard wide, I'm not sure. So anyways, let me hold that up there so I can kind of see. Let me get the individual pieces off. That's the middle. Let me just, okay, that's the top. This is the top. And then, let's see, what am I missing here? I think I'm missing, the bottom piece for some reason. Oh no, here it is. Okay, so this is the bottom of the curtain. And yeah, I think I have just about a yard here. Okay, so this is the bottom. And now you can cut these out individually, these flowers. I think this was another almost mirror one, so I have double of some of the parts of it. So you can cut it from here and have this as like an applique piece. You can just cut this here, which I might have done. Let me see. Okay, see, I did cut. I cut. Did I cut? No, that might be another piece. I'm gonna end up confusing myself. All right, so yep, that is not the same piece because there's only 3 pieces here. But I did cut some individual things out here, so I wanted to kind of show you. But anyway, you could cut the flowers off, or you could leave 2 flowers on. Now the only thing is when you're using it as a trim, they connect. So you can use 2 flowers here, but then you're going to be missing a flower here. So what you'd have to do is like cut it here, have this as an applique, and then cut it here, and you'd only have that as an applique. But that's okay. So to be like every other one. And I cut these individual pieces to show you, okay, as an applique. You can even just cut. Now this one, see, this is the same as what I just showed you, like this. But you can cut this as an individual little applique, and then look at, now to me that almost looks like part of a butterfly. So you could somehow turn that into a butterfly. And then the flowers, I have double the flowers, so on this particular one I left the leaves on both sides. So there's that. Let me just move those out of the way. Okay, and then this trim here, did I just show? That's the one I just showed you. And then here, this one actually, here's the middle. And it's these really long, here's an individual one. So look at how, you know, I never know if it's wide or long, but I'll call this long. But see, this is what I just showed you. Now, if I can find it. Okay, see, this is this one here. So I cut this because I cut this one out and then I cut this one out just to show you what you can do. But I still have the trim, you know, left of the whole thing. So here is the middle part there, and see, it's a trim. And and you can keep it intact. And that's what I'm going to do until I decide what I'm going to do with it. I will keep it all in one piece. And then here is, let's see, where was this one? This was kind of in between. These flowers here were in between. But see, I was able to, this had a lot of fussy cutting. Oh my gosh. All right, it's a side. I had to cut along here. And then I had to cut the connectors. So here's another yard of just flowers. And then this was the very top. And you can see it's got these loops, but it also has these little, now this curtain here I did use in Olivia's doily book. I took these because they were small enough. I cut some individually and I put them around one of the images. So like this here, I could cut these off if I want to use some of those again and just have the loops there, and then do what I'll show you what I'm going to do with the loops in the second video. So there's the other trim. So that's that curtain. Okay, and then we have this curtain. And this is it. It's one of those ones that, you know, you probably have two pieces to, and this might have gone on the top. So this is what it looks like intact. I left a big piece of that intact. And I think I was able to use everything. Like I kept the top part of it, because look at, that makes a perfect little trim right there. So there's the top of it. And what I did was I just cut in between, right, that line right there in between the two. I cut right there, going all the way across. So there's the top piece. And then here are the flowers, the ones right in the middle of it. Let me get that out of the way. So I left these intact. And this is how I would use it. If I wasn't gonna use it as a trim, but as an applique, I would use this whole little piece here, because I don't think cutting these out individual, I don't know, maybe they'd work, but you'd probably have to use two flowers and then overlap them in order to make it, you know, a decent looking flower. But I kind of like it the way it is. And then here's the bottom part. And again, I did leave some of the connectors on. I just ran out of steam. And then, so that's the bottom. And then this is the other part of the top. And even this would make a, you know, a nice trim. So this, I was able to use the whole piece. I didn't have to throw any of it away, or I should say waste any of it. Okay, and then here's the last one. Let me put this out of the way. And oh my gosh, this one. Let's see, here's the curtain. I was able to leave a good sized piece. This would more than cover like a whole book, a page anyway. So this is the whole piece. And this is the only part of this whole piece that I can't use, or I wouldn't use. Just that 1 inch. It's about an inch wide. So I think that's pretty good. All right, so let me get into this one. And this is really so pretty. Okay, this is the top. Here's the top. But depending if you want to cut all this out, you can turn it over and it would be the bottom. And you could turn that into the bottom. But like I said, I'm leaving it till I know what I want to do with it. All right, so there's the top of the curtain. And then underneath the top was these hearts. And look at these. Now to me that's a heart. And then it's got this little decoration on top, and I kept it all intact. I might cut out an individual heart and either maybe not use this part, or what I might do is take this part and put it down here. But this this curtain was pretty long, so I was able to get over a yard of this. But I just love this. Look at that. I mean, how unique is that? You're not going to see that, you know, everywhere. So then underneath that was this piece. And I'll turn that this way. And there's so many things you can do with this. You can cut out the individual flowers. You can turn it over and have it as a dangle, or if you want to hang the flowers on a page, then you can have it up that way. And here's one of the individual flowers. I just left that on, but you can see the flower, a little flower center in there, maybe something behind it. So there's that piece. And then now I cut this straight across, and this was below the flower. And I might, if I want to cut out one of these individually, I'd probably take this out. But I'm leaving it like this because if I want to use this, say, on the bottom of a page, I would leave this because this is what I could use to glue, and I would hide it so you wouldn't even see this rough edge there. So I would hide the rough edge. So that's that piece. And then this was the very top. I just cut the whole thing off, and I cut it, see, you can see right there, I only left one. So I cut it right along there. And that's this one. Let me see. I'm trying to see. I think this is it. All right, so you can leave it like this as kind of like a dangle too, and you just hide this part, or you can turn it over and use it in this way also, or you can cut them out individually. So that's it. The only other thing I'll show you is I am starting a new fabric book. I haven't made a fabric book and I don't know how long. It's been months and months. And what I wanted to do, I made the pages out of napkins. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to cover the pages in curtains. So for the top, the front and back cover, I used this here. And this is a whole curtain. It's the whole piece. I left them intact. And then I also used it in the middle, like that. So this is one whole, piece of curtain from top to bottom. And then on the inner and the outer page, I used this here. I haven't tacked it all down because I'm not sure what I want to do on the bottom. So you don't glue when you're not sure what you want to do. But I did glue just to make sure it stayed on. So the back page and the front page has that. And then the next page has this curtain here. And then here it is again here. And then, as I said, this is the middle, and it's got the same as the front and back cover. So all my pages are covered